Hi everybody, Scott Weaver again from Factory Direct Window Treatments. If you watch my other videos, we've shown you how to sew your swag and pleat your swag. Now we're going to work on the jabos. So here I've got one piece, because I'm only going to show you one half of a jabot. Normally, obviously, you'd be making pairs. So what you would do in case of a pair, you would have two pieces of this fabric, and you want to put them face to face. But I'm only going to show you this one half. Now the jabot length I'm using is 36 inches, which is 1/3 down the window. And usually you're either going 1/3 down your window or 2/3 down your window or all the way down to your window. Usually you don't stop your jabots at, like half your window. So in this case, I'm going to do a 36-inch long jabot plus my sewing allowance, which is normally an inch. You'd have a half inch on the bottom, half inch on the top. But I actually going to cut it 1.5 inches longer. And I do that because there's a little take up on a swag, and I'd rather have it a hair longer than a hair shorter. So I'm cutting material at 37.5. Then we're going to talk about the width of the jabot. And this is where you might want to write this down. 1 second. So there's my length. Now I want to cut the width of it. I'm going to turn this around so you can see it. I want my jabot to finish 10 inches wide, plus the return. Now the return is what wraps around the edge of the board. This is my board. This would be called return. So I want the jabot to be 10 inches on the face and then wrap around the return by 3 inches. Keeping this in mind, this is where you're going to need to calculate. In order to get 10 inches, you want at least 3 times fullness on the face of it. So on the face, if you got 10 inches, you're going to add 30. So 10 times 3 is 30. Plus your return, which is 3 inches. That's 33 inches. Plus you need a sewing allowance of 1 inch. So that would make it 34 inches. Okay, so it's 10 inches times 3 times fullness is 30, plus your return, which is 3 inches, is 33. 1 inch sewing is 34. Now I've got a stripe, you might not be able to see it. And I got a tape measure too, so it's right on my table. So it's a little easier for me. So here is my 34 inches. The next is to draw my angle. Now what kind of angle should I use on this? Well, in this case, my swag is 18. So what I would like to use is an 18-inch angle part before it starts sloping down. So I'm going to draw a line right here at 18. And instead of coming to a point, which most of you probably have learned to go all the way to a point on this, like so, I am going to bring it in about 1 inch from this part. And the reason I'm doing this is because when I sew a half inch here and I sew back up a half inch, I'm right at a point, and I haven't really lost a whole lot. In a second I'll show you what this looks like. So here is my jabot. Now, I'm going to pretend that I've already sewn this. So what you would do is if you cut this and you had a pair of them, and then whatever your lining is, whatever you want it, you would pin it around, and then you would sew it. Then you pull it through, press it, and I think you got that. So I'm not even going to bother showing you that. But I'm going to show you how to pleat it. So on this, the first thing we're going to do is remember we have a 3-inch return. But actually I'm going to put 3.5 inches because I haven't sewn it yet. If I had sewn it, it would be just 3. Now going back to my formula of 3 times fullness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take oh, by the way, I want to put 4 pleats in my jabot. You can use 5, it doesn't matter what you use, but I'm going to use 4 pleats. So what that means is I have this would be my sewing allowance on my other side, by the way. I have 30 inches. I'm going to take 30 inches, and I'm going to divide it by 4, which can come out 7.5 inches. These are my pleats. So I've got 7.5 inches. Seven and a half inches. 7.5. My last one's going to be wider because I haven't sewn it. Now that we've got that, now what we're going to do from pin to pin is I'm going to grab this material and I'm going to bring this over. In a second I'll show you what I did. I brought the back of this over to that pin mark. So that's my first pleat. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Take this, now I'm going to take this, I'm doing about 2/3 of where my pin is. Then I'm going to bring that over to my next mark. And again, I'm lining this up with my pin mark. This fold is coming over right to where this pin mark is. I'm going to put another. Second pleat. Again, grabbing about 1/3 of that pleat. And again, I'm bringing it back over till this part meets that pin. Bring it out. Okay, so that part is meeting this part. So and my last pleat is coming over. Don't forget I haven't sewn this. It's going to go basically where my sew mark would be right there. And that is what my jabot would look like. Like so. This is what the back looks like. So everything is even. Nothing's overlapping each other. And that's how you make a jabot. I'm Scott Weaver, Factory Direct Window Treatments. Thank you.